Hi everyone, just an update of where I am. It's the 21st of February in Kent in the UK, and this is what I'm doing this week. So just a recap of what I have been doing. If you watched my last video, I sowed some seeds. So just to take a look at those and see how they're getting on. So as you can see, some of them have germinated. That's the kale, tomatoes, aubergines and the leeks. And the ones that haven't germinated are the peppers, albeit I can see one popping through there. So they are just about to germinate. When I sowed them, I checked them every few days, because if they shoot too much, they get too leggy and you really don't want that. So every few days I was checking my propagator, and if they're germinated, I'd lifted them out and put them on a tray like I've got here, with something that can absorb the liquid so it keeps them well watered. I will be planting some more today, some more seeds, because as soon as I've got a little bit of room in my propagator, that's a call for me to put some more seeds in. So I'm going to be planting today some chard. It's one of my favourites. It's very, very versatile. Some more kale, but a different variety. So Nero di Toscana. There we go. So very different to the curly leaf variety. It's really nice to have a different type. One of the beauties of growing your own things. Some wild rocket. I shall be sowing. Some lettuce. I really like growing lettuces like this because it's cut and come again, which is exactly what it says. You cut it and more keeps coming, rather than a head forming, but once you've got the head, you cut it off, you've got nothing after that. So it makes good use of a small amount of space if you just want to grow something in pots. And some more tomatoes, and these are called red cherry. So if I move on to the compost. In one of my other videos I showed you how I mixed my compost, but I'm going to need a little bit more than it's here. Basically, 1 scoop normal multi-purpose to 1 scoop coconut coir. So if I do a couple of each, and that hopefully will be enough for my seeds, and then I'll mix it together. At the moment, with the seeds that I've planted over there, they are in my conservatory. So it's a warm place. It's really important that you obviously keep them indoors at the moment, because it's far, far too cold for them to go outside. So once it starts to warm up, and on a really warm day, I'll gently start to acclimatise the seedlings to the outdoors. So what I will do is I will open up my conservatory doors, get a little bit of air coming through, and as it warms up even more, I'll take the tray out and I'll put it outside, so get some proper sunlight on them, because they need the outdoor light, because they can't grow properly without it. If you can't do this and you can't get them outside, and you haven't got any conservatory doors like I've got, you just have to do the best you can. And I'll give you some tips going on to try and look after your seedlings, because we all have to do what we can. We haven't got a garden centre and all the facilities they have. I haven't got heat lamps, I haven't got fans, and my only real extra thing is the propagator, the heated propagator, which is well worth the investment and something that I would encourage other people to do. So with my compost, so like before, just mix the coir and the multi-purpose together. Like so. Get a tray, fill it up so it's got far more in it than you need. Again, one of these trays is really, really handy. You could just use a normal tray that you would eat your dinner off, but don't eat dinner off it afterwards. And pass it down with a piece of wood. Again, none of this is expensive stuff. And then get my seeds. So I've got the tomatoes here, the red cherry that I was talking about. And as I said before, you can just chuck the whole tray in, but actually it is worth the effort of spreading them out a little bit more. The reason for that, it's much, much easier to transplant them when they're not all so closely tied up together, and it's well worth it. And generally speaking, tomatoes, I find most of the seeds germinate, so you're not going to put 50 seeds in and only get 10 germinating. They generally have quite a good succession. In worst case scenario, you'll have to plant a few more next week or the week after, but it makes it much easier when it goes to transplanting it. So on this little tray here, I'll probably get 4 seeds in a row. And then I'll obviously carry on sowing all the way down. So I've spread all my seeds out in the little tray there. They're reasonably evenly spread out. Don't worry if they're not exact. The main thing is they're not too close together, so they're easy to transplant. The reason I use the coir and the multi-purpose is the coir keeps the moisture really well, and it's quite fine, so it's really nice for the seeds. So I top it with vermiculite. You don't have to use vermiculite. If you don't have it, then just use a little bit more of the coir and compost mix, and that's perfectly okay. The way you do it is you pour it on, roughly cover it. So you're covering this instead of compost, and then with the block again, gently spread it out to the corners. This is only a very light covering. And then pass it down like so. And I'll do this same method for all the seeds I've got today. And obviously, very important, don't forget to mark what it is, because you will forget. So I'm reusing old ones, so I'm just crossing out what was on the last one, and I'll just put Tom Red Cherry. So my seeds are all planted in the propagator here, as you can see, and all labelled up. As I've explained before, when you water seeds, you don't water over the top, because all the mud will go everywhere, the seeds will go everywhere. You water into the propagator, and I've got some capillary matting in there, and what happens is the water absorbs through the soil and it waters the seeds that way. So I've got one more pot to put in here, and as you can see, I had to actually cut a bit off of the end of a pot because it wouldn't fit in there, and I'm going to get as much in here as I possibly can. Most of my pots that I use, in fact all of these ones, are from years gone by, so all the while they're still fit for purpose, I carry on using them, but I do sometimes cut them down so they fit to size, so that will fit nice and snugly in my propagator. And I will then pop the lid on, plug it into the electric, and I'll keep an eye on that for the ones that germinate. Like I said before, check them every couple of days, because some seeds germinate quicker than others, and as I explained, some of my seeds have been in there for a week already, so those ones probably in the next day or two they'll need to be lifted out and put on a train. So I really hope that's helped everybody. And if you'd like to see more of what I'm doing throughout the year, then please subscribe to my YouTube channel, and also if you could like, so I know that you've enjoyed it, and also place a comment in the comments below, because it's really great to get feedback and also ideas for future YouTube videos. Have a great day, everyone.